What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that can play the first 3 seconds of Hallelujah on piano, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTechSupport. This story's called Delete My Account Now! This story took place about 6 years ago, and it was my second week into a new job with a web hosting company. I'd taken a call from a customer, we'll call her Karen, about some problem with the hosting service she had with us. I took a look and determined that whilst there was an issue, the fault lay with her CMS and wasn't anything we could fix. I'm sorry, Karen, the issue is to do with WordPress, and unfortunately, we can't assist with fixing this. However, I can send you some links which may help you fix it, or you can ask your developer to look into it further.
That's not good enough. I'm paying you $10 a month and I expect you to fix problems like this, not to tell me to go away and deal with it myself.
I'm sorry you feel that way. However, that $10 pays for the server space. We'll gladly help fix anything server-side that's interfering with the proper operation of your site, but we're not responsible for the software itself.
Well, if you're not gonna fix it, then just delete my freaking account right now.
Okay, I can do that, but it may be easier.
Stop arguing with me and delete my account. Clearly my $10 a month means crap to you. Go on, hurry up and terminate my account if you don't value me as a customer.
I can do that for you. Before I do, I need to ask if you have a backup of your data, as once I process this, it's gone for good.
No, just delete my account now. I expect an email telling me it's done.
Click. She'd hung up, and I sat there wondering what to do. I thought about sitting on it, but she was quite clear in her instructions. Delete her account. Karen had already run through the identity verification questions and had requested or demanded a cancellation. I took a backup of her account as insurance and proceeded with the termination. I also created a ticket with appropriate notes and emailing Karen to tell her that her termination request had been taken care of. I went home not long after that, but the next day I came into work and was immediately called in to speak to the manager. It turned out that Karen was notorious for this crap. She'd demand we do things beyond our scope and scream and cry and threaten until someone said, "Okay, we'll do it." She'd gotten used to other and go elsewhere. It seemed that other reps had just fixed whatever problem in order to stop her tantrums and get rid of her. I was the first in a long time to tell her no, and the only one who had ever followed through on actually terminating her account. You're not in trouble, don't worry. You did everything correctly. I've had Karen on the phone all morning squawking about her website. Oh, by the way, did you happen to take a backup of her account? Yep, it's on my computer. Delete it and pretend it never existed. And that's the story of how I destroyed Karen's business website. As Logic said in that song, most definitely, beautiful, amazing, incredible, which is what I describe her handling of the situation because, yes, malicious compliance to its finest. Or I guess tech support. I don't know, whichever one. This story's called, I'm not restarting my modem. I'd rather drive the full 175 miles to your HQ to punch you. So, among the literally thousands of calls I've had in my 4 years in tech support for an internet service provider, this guy really took the cake. It was the apotheosis of all those calls. It was the most infuriating, yet in hindsight, hilarious call I'd ever had in my life. That's a cool word. He came in on a fairly quiet Saturday morning, and the conversation started quite normally. Good morning, this is Name from ISP. How may I help you?
Yes, hello, this is
His name.
I just woke up to my wife and kids complaining there's no internet and the television isn't working either.
Oof, that's quite inconvenient. I'm going to have to check where the issue might be and try and fix it.
Thank you.
He gave me his postal code and house number. I confirmed his details and ran a scan on his address. There was absolutely no signal, so I needed to do a basic troubleshoot with him first. Do you know where your modem is, sir?
Yeah, it's next to my front door.
Good. Could you please tell me which lights are on or blinking on it?
There are a couple of lights on, not as many as usual though.
Is the online light on?
No.
Okay, your modem is not receiving any signal then. I'm going to have to test if the problem is in the modem or the signal towards your house. For that, I need you to turn off your modem for about 30 seconds. Could you please do that?
No.
I'm sorry?
That sort of thing is your job. I'm not touching that modem.
You only need to pull out the power cable, wait 30 seconds, and plug it back in.
Like I said, that's your job. Send someone over to fix it.
I was not sure if he was joking or not. I was just baffled at the hard turn this conversation had just taken. Sir, there is a basic troubleshoot we need to run with all our customers that solves like 90% of all.
I don't care. I'm not getting paid for this, so I'm not doing your job. Now send someone over.
I can't very well send our technicians over just to restart your modem, sir.
You can and you will. And you'll compensate me for the time I haven't received any of your services.
I don't care much for your tone, sir. Either you cooperate with our standard troubleshoot, or I cannot help you.
You've got a pretty big mouth there, Missy. What's your name? I'll issue a complaint against you.
My name is First Name, sir.
First name what?
Just First Name, sir.
Scared to give me your last name?
No, just not obligated to give it to you. You've been very rude to me, so I won't give it to you.
You think you're so high and mighty because you're on the phone. I know where your HQ is. I'm driving over there right now, and you'd better make sure you have your eyes open when you come out.
My first name in a mocking tone. I snickered at the thought. He lived about 280 kilometers, or 175 miles, from our headquarters. Plus, he only had my first name, and he had, of course, no idea what I looked like. If you would rather take 3 hours to get here and then another 3 to get back home, rather than taking 30 seconds to restart your modem, you're welcome to do so. I'm now terminating the call and issuing a threat warning. Have a lovely day. I hung up before he could respond and reported a threat of violence to my manager. He made note of it and put it through to our second line to pick this further up. I wish I could say the story ended there, but unfortunately, it continued as soon as I resumed taking calls. Not 5 minutes after I got back to work, I got him on the phone again. Good morning, this is Name from...
Ha! There you were. You think you could just hang up on me? I'm taking this to court. I'm canceling our services as of right now.
I've issued your violent threat, which we recorded, by the way, to our second line, sir. I'll add that you wish to terminate your contract. They'll call you back within 2 hours. Goodbye. I hung up again, and he thankfully didn't try to reach me again after that. I did learn afterwards that he had, in fact, taken this case to court and lost. His services were canceled 5 months before the date of the contract, and he had to pay up the remaining 5 months. I hope it was worth it to him. I did not press charges for the threat since I never took it seriously. I mean, I literally laughed it off. Thinking back on it, it still makes me snicker. I'm imagining him driving for 3 hours, arriving at our HQ, asking all the women who left the building their names in hopes he could do God knows what to one of them. Then driving back home for 3 hours, not to mention having to stop for gas, which costs a lot here, and still have his wife and children complaining that they have no internet or television. Idiot. Wow. What a jerk. Calling an innocent customer an idiot. The audacity. Alright, this story's called... I blew up my computer. Names have been changed to protect the innocent, but not the guilty. There was a young, motivated, and inexperienced computer engineer working at a small company that built inspection machines for a niche market. These inspection machines consisted of Wintel computers along with some specialized hardware for interfacing with the inspection sensors and general control, enclosed in a nice air-conditioned cabinet for all the electrical-y bits. The software was developed in-house as well and ran on top of Windows. If you ever worked in manufacturing before, you've probably run across this kind of setup before. Now, this company built the computers in-house from off-the-shelf parts. Intel CPUs, Samsung SSDs, Crucial RAM, Supermicro MOBOs, you get the drift. Each developer got an exact copy of the currently shipping hardware and machine components, so it would be easy to develop and test locally. The hardware was always on the mid to high end, so this worked out well for everyone. There was a sole IT professional that handled the company's IT needs, obviously, and did the purchasing and inventory for the Wintel components. The antagonist of our story, mentioned above, was a fresh college graduate with a degree in computer engineering with a focus on embedded systems. So, when a small project came up for a small embedded peripheral to this peripheral, the computer engineer volunteered to take it, and management approved. On to the story. Here are the characters. Computer engineer. Smart yet inexperienced engineer. Antagonist. IT. Information technologist of the house support. 30 million of his name, king of the servers, the rightful admin of all PCs, and protector of the databases, king of Active Directory and call of the network. That was good. That was really good. Scene: IT's office. IT looks up to see computer engineer standing meekishly in the doorway, looking as guilty as a young puppy who peed on the carpet after house training. I need to pull a new motherboard, keyboard, and USB hub from stock. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need more components. Okay, we have the parts in stock. What's this about? Usually stock pulls are for complete machines. Is there something wrong with the machine on the shop floor? Nothing wrong with production as far as I know. It's... The computer engineer is staring at his shoes and moving in a clearly uncomfortable fashion. Something is clearly wrong, and all evidence points to computer engineer as the guilty party. Sit down and tell me what happened. I blew up my computer. What? Tears welling up. I blew up my computer. I didn't mean to. I was working on the new embedded peripheral prototype and... Go on. I was rearranging the hardware on my desk when I heard this loud pop. I looked up at my monitors and they were all black. I heard all the fans running at 100% and there was smoke pouring out of my keyboard and computer case. I cut power to everything. The embedded peripheral, PC, monitors, everything in my cubicle. I tried bringing my PC back up, but nothing happened when I pressed the power button. I opened up the side of the case and there was black charring all around the USB ports on the motherboard. So what happened? I think I put 24 volts on the 5-volt USB rail by accident. How? I left some wires hanging loose off the prototype and must have bumped them. I had a USB adapter I was using to communicate with the prototype, and the loose wires touched something they shouldn't have. The main power supply on the prototype is 24 volts, and one of the loose wires was on the 24-volt supply. It touched the 5-volt USB rail on the USB adapter. Am I gonna get fired? How much equipment, in dollars, do you think you destroyed? Answer honestly. $500? Grabs tissue from the box on IT's desk. $500. Okay. Assuming everything company owned in your cubicle got fried, that's probably, what, $3,000 worth of equipment, right? Wait, I haven't finished. Have you ever brought an embedded control system to market before? No. This was a prototype you were working on? Uh-huh. Something went wrong and the magic white smoke came out. Uh-huh. Remind me again, what went wrong? I left some power wires loose and they touched the adapter. I see. You left some wires loose, they got bumped, and some electronics got destroyed. Yes. Grab another tissue. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm going to pull the components from another complete system for you from stock. You're going to go back to your cubicle and rebuild your PC. I know you can handle this since you built your PC on your first day here. You're going to return all the old components to me for proper disposal. Keep the original SSD if it still works. No point in reinstalling the OS since the replacement hardware is identical and the SSD probably survived. You're probably going to be back up and running in an hour.
Huh?
What did you learn? It's not a trick question. What did you learn?
Never leave wires flying in the breeze?
Bingo. 5, 10, 20 years from now, you will never make this mistake again. This company just spent, at most, $3 grand training you. I don't know what you make salary-wise, but my guess is the equipment you destroyed, worst case, is the equivalent of 5 days of what this company spends on you. It probably cost over $20,000 to hire you, considering the recruiter fees, HR time, interview time, and so on. You did something that cost the company a pittance compared to what it took to hire you. Never mind your salary and benefit cost. You obviously know what you did wrong, and you'll never make this mistake again. If the company fired you over this, they'd be spending another 20 grand minimum to replace you. Crap happens. It's happened to me, it's happened to you. It happens to everyone. You're young, you're inexperienced. College should teach you how to learn, and you've learned from this. Now take these parts, rebuild your PC, and let me know if you need anything else.
Thank you.
This isn't the first time I've dealt with destroyed parts, and this won't be the last. Just don't leave wires loose again.
Absolutely.
This happened 5 years ago. I was the computer engineer, and I'll never forget these lessons.
Aw, you gotta love people like that.
That was so nice. That's a good boss, or whatever the hell he was to that person. That's a wonderful story. This guy's like a better parent than like 90% of actual parents. Let me know in the comments below, like a time when you messed up or you thought you messed up like insanely bad and you thought you were gonna like be killed or something for it, and the person you told just made everything better, made you feel better, and you learned something from it. Basically what happened here. Seriously, let me know, and I'll freaking probably cry if it's super sweet, because I will admit, I get teary-eyed really easily when nice things happen. I don't cry, but you get what I'm saying. And you know what? So what if I did cry? What are you gonna do about it? Laugh at me? Probably. I'd laugh at myself too. Tears of a clown. Alright, this one's called, I was fired because I made the customer feel stupid. I work in IT, and sometimes do support on the side for people in business. I'm sure most of us do or have done this. One of my longtime customers recommended me to a local law firm, and they called me up. Did a couple of support calls for them. All were easy things. Set up a VPN connection between offices, poke holes in the firewalls for various things, a few minor AD tasks, stuff like that. A couple of months in, I got a call that they would no longer need my services. Not a huge deal, but I decided to ask why. Turns out, I made the office manager feel stupid because I was doing the things they asked too quickly and made it look easy. I stopped for a second and said, "You realize I have done similar things every day for the past 20 years, right? It's what you hired me to do." It didn't make a difference. I made it look too easy and he thought that made him look dumb. P.S. Wow, this got more attention than I thought. This is a small portion of the side gig, maybe $100 to $150 a month. Not a loss at all. I just thought it was amusing. After 20-something years in IT, that was a new one for me. Okay, even if you were intimidated by someone's superiority in a certain thing that they worked in for 20 years. Anyways, even if, there's a potential for learning there. Now this guy seems like a reasonable person, and I'm sure if you wanted to see how they're fixing it, maybe they'd be okay with explaining it a little bit. IT people in the comments below, I know you're here. How would you feel if someone asked you how you're fixing it, and be honest? Would it be kind of annoying? Does it happen a lot? Let me know, I'm curious. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.